Can we all stop saying we're born and bred here, please? We cannot say that in the UK anymore because it's a no-go.
Please hang on in there for this one because it is a fairly long one and it is largely aimed at people like this lady who hear this stuff, especially from places like the Daily Mail and GB News and Reform and all the rest of it. This is not true. Now, the lady in question was interviewed by the police for some statements that she made, which included that one. You can say, I was born in Falkirk, I was born in Barnes, I was born in Barnes, London, and I'm very proud that I'm not proud because I didn't choose it. But anyway, you can say that all you like. She wasn't interviewed because saying that statement was wrong, but that was among the things that she said. The statements that she made were problematic. The leader of the council said they were problematic, and apparently people complained, and the police have interviewed her. So you were given a tiny snippet of information which led you to a misleading conclusion. And this is something that the media, the right-wing media, do a lot. They also tell outright full cloth lies. You will see statistics quoted. There's some ridiculous one about Afghan men and rape, which is, nobody, I don't think anyone can work out where it came from, where it's not a lie, but it's not true. Now, the thing is, some of you, I know, will at the end of the day just be racist and you won't care. You just think brown person, black person, bad, don't want to know, fine. But I don't believe that's most of you. And would you believe that we all actually, whatever side of the fence we're on, we pretty much want the same things. It's just that. For example, paedophilia is horrible. I don't want anybody raped. Paedophilia is ghastly. Everybody who commits that crime and everybody who commits sexual offences should be tried in prison and dealt with properly. The thing is that we know from statistics that immigrants, people from, with brown skin, are no more likely than white men to do these crimes. Obviously, some of them will. Some white men do. A lot of them beat up their wives. None of these things are solely the province of brown people or immigrants. So here's the problem, and it's a problem, it's the reason why people such as myself are arguing against it, is this. If you commit a rape in this country, you are highly unlikely to actually face any consequences or see any prison time. Now, rather than focus on brown people and try and say things like, oh, they're groomers, well, they're no more likely to be groomers than white men are. There are plenty of white grooming gangs that have happened. All of these things happen. But if you focus on one group, which is the smallest, not just numerically, which it is, numerically, obviously they're a smaller dose of the population, numerically a smaller group, but also statistically, they are slightly smaller a group than white men. Not a lot, but a little bit, just a shade. You are taking the focus off the bigger problem. So, for example, nothing to do with this. Eating fatty foods, lots of fatty foods, gives you coronary heart disease and you will die. Now, we're talking about all fatty foods, but what happens if instead of the messaging being eating fatty foods might give you coronary heart disease and you might die, we said bacon, only focused on bacon? Then lots of people would ignore things like sausages and fatty pork. They would think it was only bacon, and that's not true. And those of us on the left also want the things that you want. We want safe communities where our women and children are comfortable, our kids go to school, get a good education, we want to be able to afford our rent, we want to be able to have jobs that pay us enough money to live on, we want to be able to buy decent food, have a bit of a holiday every now and again, know our neighbours and say hello to them. There is nothing about immigration that stops any of that. And in fact, in my experience, the more diverse communities are better at it. But it's what we disagree with is the things that are barriers between us and that. Now, if the things that you were being told by some of the right-wing media, you would be completely right to be horrified and worried. The problem is a lot of those things are not true, which means you're basing your conclusions on false information. So when you hear things like that, instead of just saying, oh my God, it's awful what's happening, have a bit of a further look into it, and you'll find out that you have been at best misled, and in some cases outright lied to. And if that's the case, which you will find, you should be really angry at the people who are lying to you and are trying to make you act against your own interests.